I can give an interesting example. So a while back, we also did this project, and we were working on optimizing the workflow in a hospital. So basically, we had a hospital, and they wanted to optimize their workflow. So to make sure that patients do not have to wait too long, and then optimize the entire process within this hospital. And what they wanted to do to achieve this is they wanted to use location data. And this, so basically all the staff members, so all the doctors, nurses, and everyone working in the hospital, they received a badge with sort of a GPS tag in there, so that they could track the location of their employees during the day. Same thing happens for patients visiting the hospital, and using this data, they sort of wanted to match the movements from patients and staff members and optimize the workflow within the hospital. But you can imagine that, for example, this location data is very sensitive, especially the location data of the staff members, because this location data shows whether a doctor is assisting or is visiting a patient and really working, or whether it is standing at the coffee machine and taking a short break. So you can imagine that the staff members do not want to share this information with the hospital, their employer. So what they did is basically they make sure that this data is managed by the union. So the union they trust, and the union can see this location data of the staff members of the hospital. But to optimize these workflows, what they had to do is they had to combine this location data of the staff members with the location data of the patients, and this patient data was owned by or was sort of kept by the hospital. So we have two different parties, two different data sets, and to perform the analysis, we have to combine the data sets. But for privacy reasons, we cannot just do that in a traditional manner. So, of course, NPC allows a privacy-friendly solution. So it made a lot of sense to start thinking and start working about a multi-party computation prototype for solving precisely this issue. But when we started doing that, we sort of took a closer look at the application and the computation that actually has to be performed. And we found out that we could redesign the algorithm and perform certain computations locally. And by doing that, we could perform the entire analysis without having to share the data and without having to use MPC at all. So this was really a result of taking a closer look at the exact algorithm and then sort of dissecting it and rearranging the algorithm and finding out that multi-party computation was not required at all, but you can just perform the computations locally. So that was actually quite interesting. We started off with a project, and the goal was to apply multi-party computation to solve privacy problem. But in the end, we managed to solve all of it without multi-party computation in actually a really a simple manner. So that's also something that's good to take into account. So dive into the algorithm and then see whether you can do something more efficient than just naively applying a cryptographic protocol.